do. Awesome. Okay. Today's topic is going to be really good. I personally needed to hear it when I was doing my own Bible study. And so this one today is basically about how God's in control and He can allow anything in life to happen. And so I know it's really hard for our human minds to grasp. I know it's hard for me to personally grasp at times. So I'm going to talk about that. But this one says, my paths are beyond tracing out. Come to me with humility in your heart, bowing before my infinite intelligence. Relinquish your demand to understand. Accept the fact that many things are simply beyond your comprehension. Because I am infinite and you are finite. That sounds so weird. The limitations of your mind make it impossible for you to understand much of what happens in your life and in the world. So it's vital to make room for mystery in your worldview. You're privileged to know many things that were formerly mysteries, things that had been kept hidden for ages and generations. The New Testament is full of revelations that came through my incarnation, life, death, and resurrection. You are immeasurably blessed to have the priceless knowledge. Nonetheless, the ways I work in your world are often mysterious to you, beyond tracing out. This presents you with the choice to resent my ways or to bow before me in the wonder and worship. Marvel at the depths of the riches of my wisdom and knowledge. So, one thing I'll add to that is he's telling us, like, we aren't even supposed to know everything that we sometimes do know. And so that's why it's really hard for us to grasp that God can sit here and move mountains. God can sit here and, bless the blind and heal the sick and all of these things. Like, how many times have you guys prayed for something and it actually happened? Like, I know for me, sometimes especially if I'm feeling like super down and I just feel like God's not working with me or he can't hear me, I'll literally say, give me a sign, like give me a word. And like I say like a specific word, I'll say let go, or that you're listening, that you can hear me, or whatever word it is. And that word pops up over and over and over again for that day. Or something else happens where you're just like, God, can I get that parking spot? And then you get it, and I don't know if people don't necessarily pray over parking spots, but that is something that I've learned that's been super valuable, is that we aren't supposed to understand everything. And so many times for me personally, I try to understand way too much, and it doesn't serve me, doesn't help me. It just leaves me feeling frustrated, because at the end of the day, your mind genuinely cannot grasp the things that God hasn't planned for you. So keep that one in mind. And then this one, I'm actually reading from, I pulled this one back out, the prayer journal that I've actually told a lot of you guys to get if y'all were struggling or maybe just needed a way to start with prayer. This is a great journal. I just decided to get it back out because I do have some pages that still aren't filled in it. There's almost all of them that are, but then some of them aren't. And this one says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And then it says adversity and trials. It says, repeat after me. With God, all things are possible. Repeat it again. With God, all things are possible. If God said it, then you can be assured that it is absolutely true. If God can part seas, heal the blind, and bring men back from the dead, then you better believe he can certainly handle anything going on in your life. Write about any areas of your life that feel uncertain. Are you working through any disappointments or facing a particular challenge? Perhaps you feel like you're in a good place and you feel concerned for someone else. Do you believe that God can handle all the things on your heart? And I know that you aren't journaling right now, but I journal like 24/7 out of the day. Like, I have to journal. It's just something that really does give me peace. And so when I'm journaling, some of the things that I personally I feel annoyed about is my and I hate saying depression because I just hate that word, because I just hate depression overall. But like my depression, sometimes I feel like I literally can't control it. And then the thoughts of getting to my promotion, I keep worrying about the how and not just moving forward with just doing the work. And I know that God's going to bless it. That's really hard for me to lose control of. And so and then another thing I wrote down is my mom. I don't know what to do with her. So that's someone I just feel like I'm out of control with as well. And so there's a lot of things that I can write down, but that's something I'll maybe want to ask you today. And maybe you can write it down. You can put it in your notes. You can just say it out loud. You can think of it in your head. But if today you're trying to figure out all these things on your own and you're like, really confused. I am really burdened with this. I'm not happy because I keep thinking about this one instance of what could go wrong or what did go wrong or whatever, because that can obviously hold you back. I read something last night and it was saying, like, obviously looking at tomorrow isn't going to change today. Looking at what happened yesterday is already done. You literally can't control what happened yesterday. And it's basically the same thing today. Is like, focus on what you can today. And I focus too much on tomorrow or what had happened. And it drives me crazy why I think like that. And so maybe you need to journal that out and think of some things that you personally are trying to really, really have control over, or you're trying to really have understand why it's happening to you. And that's something that I actually had to do. So I filled up this page with journaling, and then it gives you like 3 other pages to write in, and I am already halfway through another page, and so it just allows you to get out your thoughts and stuff. But one thing I want to add on is it says, my paths are beyond tracing out. Come to me with humility in your heart, bowing before me in my infinite intelligence. Relinquish your demand to understand and accept the fact that many things are simply just beyond your comprehension. And that's something that I personally want to go over, is that you just have to accept the fact. And I know sometimes it's really irritating, especially when you're starting out with your faith. It's very tempting to get irritated with just the littlest things, because you're like, is God real? Is he not real? I mean, is he real? Is he not real? Is he actually moving mountains? Is he not? All of these different things are coming into mind. So your faith is a little bit weaker. And so when you don't understand something, you question it. I don't understand why I've been in this business so long and I haven't promoted like I have, but then again, I'm like, wait, my heart wasn't there. But then I'm like, why was my heart not there 5 years ago? And so it just makes me think. Then I'm like, this does not serve me whatsoever. It just leaves me with frustration. It leaves me with just feeling not content. And it just leaves me with all these negative emotions that I, number one, don't deserve. My team doesn't deserve. God doesn't deserve, because he always promises you that he's going to give you something in the right timing. And it says that if God said it, then you can be assured that it is absolutely true. If God can part seas, heal the blind, and bring men back from the dead, then you better believe he can certainly handle anything going on in your life. So whatever it is that you have going on in your life, I want you to try and to release control. Like, it's very, very hard to do. Me personally, it's very hard to do. And so what I genuinely have to do every single day is just say, God, can you please help me release this control? And it can be something as simple as that. And then just start stating things of the situations that you need to release control in. And that's where I started. That's what helped me. And I do that on the daily. It's not something that just automatically goes away. It's not something that just automatically happens overnight. But that's what I work on. So if you have a situation, maybe you have a promotion that you're trying to figure out how to reach, or if you have a consistency problem that you're like, I just can't get freaking consistent, release that control of trying to figure it out and just freaking do it. If you are trying to maintain control of your health and things like that, and you just feel like it's constantly out of control, and I've told y'all all with that, like, start small. Start with the small things. Start with the small things of, God, can you help me release control of panicking over this one situation? Start small. You don't have to sit here and write all the big things out and hopefully he takes all of it away, because he works in increments as well too, because he sometimes doesn't want to give you the whole freaking pie. He wants to give you bits and pieces, because if we were to get what we prayed for right at this very moment, I bet you we would not be able to handle it, so we wouldn't sustain it. And so that's kind of a mindset that you have to go into with anything in life. It can be with a promotion. It can be with the business. It can be with your family. It can seriously be with anything. I'm not just talking business related, but that's something that I've really had to come to peace with. Even on times where I'm just like, why can't it just happen? Why can't I just be where I want to be? Or why can't I just be this? And he constantly reminds me, like, dude, I've moved mountains. I've fed the birds in the sky. Like, I do all of these things. Why in the world do you think I would leave you stranded? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And then I just kind of go into like a mindset of like, he's not going to leave me stranded. He's not just going to let me do without. He might let me struggle a little bit to teach me something. And that's okay, because I always make it through. And so that was kind of a mindset that really helped me. And then it said, you are immeasurably blessed to have the priceless knowledge, this priceless knowledge of like the New Testament and everything. And it says, nonetheless, the ways I work in your world are often mysterious to you beyond tracing out. This presents you with a choice to resent my ways or to bow before me and worship. And so something I want to ask you today, and that kind of goes to a question, is every single day that you walk in life, do you find yourself resenting God and resenting just everybody in the world, resenting people who did you wrong, just angry at everything? Or do you find yourself just relieving control and just being like, okay, God, I trust you for the day? I can tell you there are some days that I'm like the angry person and I'm like, I just want to be angry at everybody. And the other part, more than half of me is just like, God, I got you. Like, I know that you're going to release me into this control. And I know that you're going to help me with whatever it is that I need help with, even if it's not the same way that I prayed for. And time again, like, he's shown me personally, like, look at me, I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm standing, I have a house, you know, I'm preparing for the future, all these things. I'm not financially struggling, I'm not any of those things. And so he's providing for me. It's just not in the way that I personally have wanted, because I constantly want more and more and more. And then he constantly humbles me back down and says, I've provided for you this far, be grateful, and then we can move forward. So if you're not even grateful for where you're at, that's the first start. And then secondly, just ask yourself, you know, do you find yourself really getting mad every day, or do you find yourself having peace with everything? And if you're that angry person, if you're that mad person, that's where you need to start. You need to start with just fully asking God just to release you from all of those burdens that are making you angry. Journal it out. I've had people do this on my team that has really helped them. And it helped me because I actually learned it from a leader in this business. When I was really, really angry and I couldn't understand where the anger was coming from. I was just angry at just life. I was angry at just everything. It was when I was going through my really bad depression last year in the summer. And she was like, do me a favor and turn off airplane mode on your phone, and turn on airplane mode, and go in your notes and just write out every single thought that comes to your mind. Even if you're like typing out something angry and then you're like, oh, a squirrel, like literally write everything out. Don't even think twice about it. Just let your mind, there's a word for it, I guess flush, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Flush out all the negativity. And then once you do that, once you feel like you're good, because if you do this on paper, your hand's going to cramp. Honestly, I journal a lot, my hand cramps. And so you'll stop midway through and you don't get all the feelings and emotions out. Whereas typing, it's way easier. You know, we text really fast now. And so I'm really allow you to do that. And so just write out every fear, anger, doubt, write out any emotion that you have in your notes. Then once you do that, you can either reverse it and go into another set of notes and just write out everything that you're grateful for, or return those things that you were so angry about into positive affirmations, claiming victory over those things, or you can just let it be. Even though, like, we're just, us as humans, we have to get the anger, we have to get feelings out, we can't keep them bottled in. Have you ever met someone that's kept their emotions in for literally years and years and years, and then they become the angriest human? I actually have someone like that in my family, I'm not even kidding. And she was like, one day she was like, I just kept it in for so many years and now I'm sick of it. I'm like, I would be sick of it too. You kept 50 years of your life bottled up. Like, that's not healthy. So don't be that type of person that's going to bottle it up, and write that out. I promise you, when I did that, when I had leaders on my team do that, when I've had friends do that, it's helped them so much. And I think it's just because you have to have a place to put that, and not everybody journals, and that's totally fine. So I would really advise you to do that. Get all that anger out and start something fresh tomorrow. Just claim over the day and just say, I'm going to start fresh and not be angry today. I'm going to start fresh and have a positive mindset, a grateful heart, a thankful heart for what's happening and what God's giving me. And then just write a list of gratitudes after that. That's something that I do too, is just write a list of gratitudes every single day, even when on the days I do not feel grateful. I don't wake up every day happy. There's a lot of things that go on in life, and sometimes life is hard, but for the most part, I'm very grateful. And so even on the days where I'm just like, man, today kind of sucks, I'm still going to write out my gratitudes, because no matter what, I'm grateful for what I'm going through, because I know it's going to be someone else's, way to help them through their situation. Or, you know, I'm grateful for just the things that I have, and not material things, but the health, the family, the love, the support, like all of those things too. So don't just write out material things, because material things can only last you so long. So that's something I really want to challenge you to do today, and just check out your heart, and then also write down the things that maybe you want God to really help you with. And then there's this one too. This one says, it's just like a short scripture, and I know that y'all heard this before, but it says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayers, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." I know you probably heard that a million times. Sometimes it clicks with me, sometimes it doesn't. But in this moment, when I read that last night when I was journaling, it clicked with me. And I was like, literally everything is in my, not necessarily in my control, but my mindset is in my control. What I can feed into my mindset is in my control. What I pour out is in my control. And so that's where I need to start, believing that God's going to supply me with everything that I need. And that's a great start. So have that start today. And I think it'll give you a refresher for your mind instead of panicking on if you're looking for a house, or panicking about your relationship, or panicking about when you're going to promote, or panicking if this business is for you, or literally all the other things and the different scenarios in the world that you can make up. So I'll stop talking, but I really hope that that was helpful. I was going to read something else, but honestly, I'll save that for tomorrow. I have a really good one already prepared for tomorrow because I journaled a lot through this last night, and so I'm excited to share with y'all, but hopefully that helps. If this didn't, then I apologize, but I always feel like it helps someone because I just do these randomly, and it's just kind of like what God puts on my heart. So I will play some music, but put your prayer requests below. And remember, if you don't have anything to pray over yourself, then pray over your heart. Praying over your heart and praying over just your intentions is going to always help you as well. It's something I had to do for the longest time. If you're someone that's like, I don't need to be prayed over, I literally prayed over my heart so much, so many times. And so think of that and then pray over someone else that you maybe need to pray over. So just, there's so many different things. But anyways, I'll shut up so y'all can sit there and write your prayer requests below, and then I'll play some music. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called me. I've been born again. Actually, this was one of them that I was going to read, and it kind of pertains to today. So I'll just read this. I won't really necessarily interpret it. But it says, "Gaze at me, glance at problems. This is the secret of living victoriously. Your tendency is to gaze at problems for prolonged periods of time, glancing at me for help. This is natural for someone with a fallen mind living in a fallen world. However, I have called you to live supernaturally, and I have empowered you to do so. The Holy Spirit who lives in all my followers enables you to live beyond yourself, to transcend your natural tendencies." So basically, switch it around and don't just glance at God and really gaze at your problems. Gaze at God and then glance at your problems and say, "Oh, God's got this." That's what I have to do, and it's really helpful. Okay. Morgan, which one? The one that I literally just read? Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and pray, and then y'all know if y'all want to continue commenting, then I will see these. But it's 8:55, so I'll go ahead and do this so I don't run over. Let me